My name is Carmen Domingo, and I am the Dean of the College of Science and Engineering at San Francisco State University. It's always great to hear from people who are at such a variety of institutions. So we have people here from community colleges, from four-year universities, R1 institutions with research programs. My institution is kind of in the middle. It's a four-year institution, but it's a comprehensive. We don't have PhD programs. We have a lot of grants, but we're also looking for different ways that we can enrich our curriculum. So I'm learning, a lot about cures. Like, it was really lovely to hear all the different ways that people are embedding authentic research experiences in their classrooms. That's something we're doing just a little bit about, but we could do so much more at San Francisco State. Well, this conference was, my first opportunity to really meet all of the hub members and just see like how incredibly diverse the participants are and the reach, right? That it's including, community college, four-year institutions that are comprehensive like myself, but also R1 institutions and people at different positions in the university and at different levels of advancement in the university. So it's really exciting just to see the engagement. It gives me optimism because I feel like these kinds of programs really create synergy and help us feel that we're not so isolated in our respective institutions or small departments, that this really has this kind of national support so that we can support one another, I think, in the good work of really trying to serve our students well. Building community is so essential when the vast majority of faculty of color are very isolated on their campuses. There's so few faculty of color. Sometimes it'll be just one in a department. And how do they lift and promote the curriculum and all the support structures that really are necessary to support a very diverse student population? All of our campuses have diversity. It's by nature of who has immigrated to our country and the student population that we have that's emerging out of K through 12. And yet that diversity is not mirrored in the faculty or in the leadership. And there's a disconnect. I think we all recognize that our higher academic institutions weren't necessarily constructed with intent to serve the population that we have. It needs to change. We're all change agents. We're all here. And when we come together as a community, it can feel very powerful. But we need to take that and go back to our home institutions and figure out how to really build that kind of change. And so I think these kinds of meetings are important to give people that sort of spiritual lift when they go back to their home campuses, where sometimes it is very exhausting. It helps us also see that we can build a broader community. Like, there were other faculty from the CSU system here, that we can connect with. And also, I think it makes us feel a real moral obligation that we have to. It's not whether we want to or not. We have to make change. And I'm grateful to NSF because I was just thinking, like almost all of the presentations, in the last couple of days have cited NSF as the funder in thinking about the programs that we've had at San Francisco State. Some are NSF funded. And for example, I think I talked a little bit today about an advance grant that allows us to really dive a little bit more deeply in terms of the faculty experience and how do we support faculty. And in our case, it's faculty women of color in STEM. And so in thinking about what are the issues and barriers for their retention and tenure and promotion, we've discovered ways to improve the experience for faculty of color, in particular women of color, but it actually permeates and improves the whole institution and how we recognize and reward things like service so that it's part of the tenure process. We have an REU, a research experience in the summer. We also have some bridge programs with our local community colleges for early entry into the sciences. We also have some that are about embedding student assistance in the classroom. So there's all these different things, and they're all doing little things, and then you're trying to figure out, is it all collectively doing what's needed to retain students in STEM and allow them to progress in a timely fashion towards graduation? You come to a conference like this and you realize it's all happening in different pockets, and then how do we take the best practices that others have done and try them at our own campus? We don't always have to reinvent and think of something innovative. There's a lot of really good work out there. I realized my growth professionally came from the students, because the students that we work with, they really appreciate when you show that kind of care in the classroom, the care outside of the classroom, that you really are there to serve them and help them achieve their career goals. They've worked so hard to get to college. Their parents have made incredible sacrifices in the hopes that their children can have opportunities that they didn't have. Then they come to our college, then I have an obligation to make that come to fruition. Seeing them graduate and go on, whether it's into, careers in STEM or in graduate school, like that is such a rewarding, experience. And then I also feel like I have amazing faculty. And so they've worked so hard to get their PhDs and get their dream job of being an academic faculty member. And it's really hard work, and it's very hard in an institution that doesn't have a lot of resources for them to set up their labs, set up their teaching, do their service, and not get paid a lot. I would say, we're in San Francisco. The cost of living is tremendous and it doesn't match the salaries. When I see that play out and they get their first grant, they get their publications, they're celebrated in their classroom, they're celebrated by their peers. To me, that's really rewarding. I know there's a lot of work, but I see so many talented people in the space, those who have been really senior and have really led this charge for many years. And now I'm getting closer to that senior level. And then all the youth that are coming in with new ideas, new energy, a desire to really see things move. Sometimes I feel like things aren't changing fast enough. There's that impatience. The conference is providing us a lot of opportunities to talk to one another, and that's really great. I mean, I like the structure of it because there's been a lot of time to really engage with our peers. A lot of us are going back home with ideas, really concrete ideas and possible collaborations and ways to really synergize.